Msunduzi Municipality has disconnected water and electricity at several schools, in fact 23 of them, days before matric trial exams. The schools owe the municipality about 23 million rand in unpaid services, but the move has been criticised by teachers' unions in KwaZulu-Natal. Let's bring in the Msunduzi Municipality Mayor, Mzimkhulu Thebolla. It's great to talk to you. Thanks very much indeed for coming onto the program. Mr. Mayor, how do you justify a decision to effectively deny learners their constitutional right to an education by disconnecting these services?
Thank you very much, and thanks for the opportunity to clarify this matter. I think everybody in the Republic, including Msunduzi Municipality, we value the education of our children. We know it's one of the priorities of the current administration, has always been. So we value that education so much. We hold it dear to our hearts. We won't do anything that will jeopardize the future of young South Africans. But equally, as a municipality, we have a responsibility to provide services in a sustainable manner to everybody, including schools and all our community within Msunduzi municipal area. Now, the schools we are talking about here are Section 21 schools. All of them receive grant from the government for them to be able to carry on with their activities undisturbed. Part of that grant is for them to prioritize municipal services, which unfortunately they don't do. Instead, they prioritize other things and not pay for municipal services. Now, we are talking here of 18 schools, which combined all the municipality, more than 23 million with arrears and interest. The amount goes to 32 million rand. There's nothing else that the municipality can do but implement the credit control policy. That is, where possible, ensure that we cut electricity, where possible, restrict water. But because it's bulk, it's not easy to restrict. So the only way is to discontinue the service.
I mean, in any other ordinary situation, Mr. Mayor, that would be an understandable explanation. But how can it be when matric learners in particular are 100 days away from writing their final exams and 2 weeks away from writing their preliminary exams?
Had it been an issue that we started now, it would be understandable. The first thing we did was to approach the Department of Education and say to them, look, you owe us, because at the end of the day, we take it regardless whether the schools do get money from the department in terms of their PPN or not. We take the department as a responsible institution when it comes to this. We disconnected their head offices and nothing came forth. The only other means now was to ensure that we go directly to the schools. Now, if you look at 18 schools combined, it says either somebody slept on duty or somebody decided to allow the schools an opportunity, noting that we don't want to deny anybody the right to education. We had to take time. That's why some will find that they owe us more than R1 million, one school. And what does that say? It says there's nothing else but for us to continue to provide services. We must do something. We really value the education of our children. That must be placed on record. But at the end of the day, we have to do something. And what we have done is to open up our doors for the schools to come and make arrangements with us. We have a very nice policy that allows anybody, from individuals to business to everybody else, to make arrangements with us. All we need is a commitment to pay.
What about the no-fee paying schools, Mr. Mayor? There are several schools that are no-fee schools, which means most of the parents at those schools rely on the 350 rand social relief of distress grant. How are they meant to pay?
That is why the Department of Education, whenever they prepare their budget, they prepare the budget according to the enrollment of the school, and the grant is based on how many learners are at that school. Their enrollment is what determines the amount that goes to that school from the department. It's not money coming from the parents. Of course, it comes from the parents through taxes that we are paying as South Africans, but we are not expecting the parents to make payments towards municipal services.
Mr. Mayor, can I come in there? Can I ask you, in terms of the amount of money that the municipality is owed in services across the board, schools included, what does that amount come to?
Of course, we are owed a lot of money, just below 7 billion rand currently, 73% of that being individual households, about 20% of that being, in fact, 26% to be precise, being business, and the rest is the government, including schools and all other government
And have you taken the steps to disconnect the businesses involved, the businesses who owe 7 billion versus the 23 million owed by schools, which is a drop in the ocean compared to 7 billion?
We have a very aggressive approach towards business. We call it Operation Kotimali. We are on the ground on a daily basis, disconnected all the businesses that are delinquents. And I will want to invite you to join us. See what you see today as we speak. We are busy targeting the car washes in the city and outside of the city, of course, in the outskirts, because those people are making money. They use our services but don't pay us. As we speak, our teams are on the ground disconnecting businesses. We have taken that approach because we note that the government and businesses can afford to pay. We really take exception when it comes to an old gogo who relies on a pension, who is at home, who is not informed that we do have other means to assist them through our indigent policy, that everybody, we note that they have got the right to basic services. We afford them an opportunity to take advantage of those policies. Those who don't know, we educate, we assist. That's why I'm saying about 73% is individual households. Most of them are indigent people. We know that. But businesses, ask any business in the city, we are very aggressive when it comes to them and the government, because they can afford to pay.
Mr. Mayor, you can't say these two things are true, that you value education and on the other hand you've disconnected these schools. That just it doesn't make sense. These are, number one, matric pupils who perhaps bore the brunt of the COVID-19 pandemic. They would have started in grade 8 or grade 9. They've already got so much working against them, sitting for their prelims and then their finals. Given that it's a 7 billion rand outstanding municipal debt for your municipality, could schools not have been your last resort?
Ma'am, some of these schools, like I'm saying to you, is not something that we just left and decided to do. Some of these schools we worked with for the past 2 years to deal with either internal leaks, because some were raising issues with their bills. We dealt with internal leaks. In other areas, we found that community members had connected in those schools illegally. We utilized our resources to work with them, to assist them, so that they reduce whatever it is that they are paying to the municipality. All that is left with them now is for them to prioritize municipal services. They know, and I'm talking here about the SGP and everybody involved in the management of the school, they know that part of, because I said these are Section 21 schools that receive a grant from the government for services, all the services that they do. For their education, they get that money from the department. For municipal services, they get that money from the department. But it's up to the principal, the SMT, and the SGP to decide what to do with that money. And indeed, it cannot be us then who will go and teach them how to prioritize what to prioritize. If they have other priorities rather than municipal services, we have people here that we must service. At the end of the day, it is the same people who will say we are unable to attend to potholes. It is the same people who will be saying we are not able to provide other services. For us to be able to
so
do
Mr.
that,
Mayor, sorry, we're running out of time for this interview. Just as a last question, your advice to the schools who have been cut off now is to come and have a conversation with the municipality and to make a payment arrangement. Is that right?
Let them come forward. Our doors are open. I've actually now taken an initiative, instructed our office to contact the district director. We have done this previously, and the department paid on their behalf. And I can tell you, the AG will have findings on that, because those schools are given money by the department to do what the department did. This is last year now. We have already reached out to the department even now to meet with the principals of all these schools so that they can enter into arrangements. But if they don't come forward, honestly, we are left with no other option but to continue with discontinuation of services to them.
And what will happen to the school children who have already missed out on so much school, who are building up to preliminary exams and to final exams?
You know, if I can put it bluntly, it will then mean we don't have the right people to lead those schools, because the right people to lead those schools are supposed to have already contacted us by now. The school cannot be disconnected and you take more than 24 hours just to reach out to the municipality to say, what is going on? What is my bill? What it is that I can do? How can you assist us? It will then say we don't have the right people there. That's the only way I can look at it. Like I'm saying, it is us even now who are now saying to them, look, come, let's talk, let us help you, because at the end of the day, like I'm saying, not even a single one of us wants to disturb the education of South Africans at the end of the day.
The Msunduzi Municipality Mayor, Mzimkhulu Thebolla, thanks for joining us this afternoon. It's a devastating story because children who are just trying to do the basics of getting education